Hi, everybody. Welcome to another podcast. And today we are joined again by the wonderful Christine Barker, and we have Britney Roback, and they are co-owners and licensed clinical professional counselors. So, you know, when I had you, I had such an amazing, I had so many emails that really loved what you were about.
Oh, good.
Okay, because of the COVID thing. And we're going through all these things. And this is why I asked you guys back, and I'm so glad. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
But I had a lot of clients that wanted to know more strategies.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought about it, and I remember you were always saying about your partner, and she specializes in the children. Okay, so Britney, tell us a little bit about yourself, and what is your profession, your title there, and what is it that you do and you specialize in?
So I have a master's in arts for mental health counseling, specializing in children and adolescents, and then I'm also certified in addictions counseling. So that's kind of a separate certification that I have. But at Intercourage with Christine, we co-own the practice. We have about 5 clinicians, and I treat primarily children, adolescents, and their families.
I love that because, listen, these are difficult times we're living in, okay?
Yep.
I'm sure you're probably getting a lot of people that need help.
Yes.
And they need they need tips, they need tools. And that's what I'm seeing. Because I even see when I get clients in here, and I really feel so bad because, you know, a second surge will definitely be coming. We know this, okay? And just getting them acclimated mentally to the second surge. The biggest thing that I'm finding, and I'm having so many parents are saying, I shouldn't send my kid. Should I send my kid? No, no, and no. This is a very dangerous time. I don't believe any children right now should go physically to school. I do not believe that because I don't think we've mastered it yet here. I really don't with COVID, and I think the second surge is probably going to be a lot worse because we're going to have flu on top of COVID.
Yeah.
So what do you tell the parents? How do you handle when they have their children again? Think about that. Think about all the months that's coming now, okay?
It's really overwhelming to think about.
Because you have children.
I'm sure parents feel the same way.
Okay, so how do you handle that? What do you tell the parents? Psychologically, how do they deal with this? Now they've got their kids, not just for a couple months, but probably well into March, April. Even if they go to school for a month and a half, the school season's over. So basically, another 8 months, 9 months, what are you telling these parents?
Well, I know that right now school is starting already for some school districts, and maybe next week after. But I think in the spring, we were all in crisis. We didn't really have time to prepare, and I think right now that's something that is in our corner, that we can prepare and set ourselves up for success to transition school to be in our home, and our home is going to be our workplace, our school, and our home. And so looking at how do we separate those and manage the different stressors between relationally, so you and your partner for parents, you with your individual children, and also giving them time away from you and giving yourself alone time, because when you're doing all of these things and putting all these hats on in the same environment, it's really difficult to separate it and have that individual time.
So do you find that structure is more important in teaching the parents to continue the structure?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry. Closer. Okay. Yes, absolutely. I think this is a opportunity to really look at what do we want to teach our children, not just academically and what we learn in school in terms of the worksheets and the things that we have to turn in for grades, but social emotional learning is just as important. And this could be a really good opportunity to build that within the structure of your own home.
Okay, so for parents that aren't as creative, and I have most of them that aren't, they're great workers in their jobs, but they're terrible being creative with their kids. What do you tell them?
So something that me and Christine have actually talked about too is parallel play. So
how do you do that?
So parallel play might be you each, your neighbor, if you have a neighbor or somebody up the street, maybe you do chalk on your driveway and then you take turns switching and draw on each other's driveway. So now you're creating your own drawing. You're switching and now contributing to somebody else's drawing while they're contributing to yours. And it's something that you have in common. You could socially distance with that. You could talk about it from a distance as well. And I think even going back to parents in childhood, we didn't have all this technology when we were younger. So being pen pals, making drawings and being able to mail it to a family friend or family member or friend and communicate that way, it's not going to fill that same need that we might feel like we're getting being in school, but there are ways to do it. And I think being friends with your child as well. So what are things that you enjoy about your child and stand out as strengths, or you really envy about your child, and how can you harness that and get to know that child even more?
Well, that's nice. I like that. So, for a lot of parents that are having a tough time keeping the kids quiet, I've actually told parents to soundproof their office. And it's working.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
Well, because they didn't think of it that way, because they're like, you know what, I go get an audio company and soundproof your office, because once you soundproof the office, your child is not walking on eggshells. You're not getting disgusted. And you know what, you can finish your conference call. I do a lot of bargaining with kids. I always did that with my daughter. If you do this, then you're going to get this. But if you don't, then, and that would be the only way that she would sometimes listen to me. Lord, and I was even telling this mother that, tutoring children, and I think we talked about this last time, Christine, get yourself a tutor from a college. Because it's a lot cheaper, and they have a lot more patience for your children, because they think your kid is the greatest. They're not burnt out having kids, and they're more creative than you are as a mother. And for those of you that can't afford it, get together with 4 or 5 parents and split what you're going to pay.
Pods. I've been seeing that a lot.
It works, and it really helps people. So they're like, you know what, I can afford it. I can't afford $60 an hour, but I can afford 20. And then if somebody puts 20 and 20 and 20, there you go. So you have like your own little school.
Absolutely.
And I think what do you think of that?
I think it's a great idea. I think parents have enough on their plate, and then now adding school to that and needing to manage 1, 2, 3, 4, however many children you have, different grades, work, still be efficient. I mean, you're giving more and more and more, and your cup's empty. How can you call in reinforcements and take something off your plate? Even if that means a neighbor who's in high school or college that has schoolwork to do, can they come over and spend time with your child who's in a younger grade?
Love that.
And co-work together.
Okay.
That might be a free resource as well. They have to work, and then it looks great on a resume.
It's true, and I love that. And the family will vouch for you if you need, if you need references.
Absolutely.
What I'm seeing is, especially on Facebook, I am seeing the most depressed parents. Woe is me, parents. I know you're listening. Sorry, I don't mean to offend you, but would you stop airing your laundry of your emotions on Facebook? Nobody cares how hard it is for you right now. Come up with solutions. Okay, I have more respect when I see people's Facebook, oh, my poor baby this, and oh, I can't do this, and oh, it's so hard. It's like, woe is me. Would you stop being Mary Moans? I'm so sick of it. I'm thinking to myself, oh, Mary Moans, right? And I'm just thinking, come on. It doesn't have to be this way. I like it when I think Facebook should be all about good things and resources.
Yeah.
Okay, so parents, if you see somebody that's having a problem, give them information. That's really what I see. If you're being fed information, if this person's still coming up with, things, then there's no helping this person. But I always say, parents really stop, because you're getting everybody else contagious with your,
because people jump in, especially on Facebook.
It's like, I can't believe how negative it is. This should be resource. Now, let me ask you guys this. And I don't know, and I mean, I'm catching you off track here, so I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Because we haven't rehearsed this. This is why I like the podcast, because it's very natural. Okay. But do you have resources that you could give parents?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I like that.
I think in terms of what to do, so how to be successful in the fall and potentially moving forward.
Right.
One, like I mentioned before, would be a schedule. Create a structure that works for everybody in the household. Have a family meeting, sit down.
Like that.
Talk about
family meetings, like that.
Yeah, what worked in the spring, what didn't work in the spring.
Great idea.
Look at what you need to do regarding your individual responsibilities as a parent. Do you have to work? Are you and your spouse trying to work within that same school day? Who's going to teach the children? And create a structure that's going to work for everybody. So everyone lunches at the same time, everyone breaks at the same time. So you're getting those breaks. Again, going back to that social emotional learning.
That's a great idea.
But you're doing it
everybody having
together.
breaks together.
Together.
So it doesn't matter what age you are, because if you were doing after school care at the Y, they have like, I think it's kindergarten through 5th grade.
Yeah.
Everybody's still doing it together.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. I love that.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I think sitting down and having that team mentality or that family mentality. We want everyone to be happy, but we also have to compromise and work together. How can we be successful in the fall together? Everyone weighs in, and then they're going to feel more accountable to follow through with whatever structure's decided upon.
Right.
Instead of a parent saying, you need to do this because I just need you to be quiet, I need to work. It can minimize the child's feelings, then they don't feel as involved in what's to come, or like they have a say. And kids want to feel in charge, right? Like they want to feel like they know things. So, because they do, and what they have to say is important. But, and I would say most of all, making sure that the child has a safe environment. So if parents are going on Facebook and freaking out about
Yes.
everything that's on their
They
plate,
need to stop doing that.
which is understandable that they're stressed out, but how much of that is filtering down to the kids?
I agree
Kids are
with that.
so receptive. Kids know more than we think they know, way sooner than we think they know it. And so if we're worried about our kids acting out, they have anxiety, they have stress, they're going to show it behaviorally, and then in turn it's not going to help us get our chores or our tasks completed throughout the day. So we need to make the home feel safe and like their thoughts and their feelings matter. They have a say in the day. So finding your own outlets so it doesn't filter down into your kids is a big one. And I know that's hard when time is an issue right now. There's not enough time and too much to do.
Yeah, but that's really good what you're saying. That's great advice. I remember, now I don't do it. We just talk, we're adults now. I have a 29-year-old daughter, but when she was young, we used to always say, we used to gather around the table, it was the three of us, because she's an only child, and we used to talk about highs and lows of the day.
Yeah.
What was the good part of your day and what was the bad part of your day? Or did you not have a bad part today? Was it good?
Yeah.
And we talk about it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I got to tell you, I did that probably all the way through she was college. Seriously, how was it today? Anything bad? Da, da, da. But it was really nice. And when you get and when she would have her friends, we would all do it together.
Love it.
And it was so nice. The kids would get into it. So that's,
Everybody has a turn. They
everybody's
feel
a turn.
heard.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right. And I think that's important. And yes, with COVID, but you know what? You don't have to be alienated. I still think that there's some maybe good friends that you can, the family, where they are. If they're as cautious as you are, you can have them over.
Yeah.
Because I think that there's so many people, they are deathly afraid to do nothing.
Right.
Okay? I mean, what do you think about that? Both of you. Do you think that that's still a safe thing to do?
I think it goes back into Christine's making a face.
I think it's an individual decision, and we have to respect everyone's individual decision.
But if you have cousins and you have, that's another thing, because I keep getting, but if you know basically what their world is and it's really comparable to yours, you could do that.
Yeah, and you could do it being safe too.
That's what I'm talking
an
about.
outside.
Yes.
I've been at parks where there are family gatherings at a park where it's outside and people are eating lunch together. I think there's a lot of safe ways, at least in this weather right now while we have this weather,
Yeah.
to continue to do stuff like that.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
I really do. I know that crafts are a big thing for kids, workshops.
Yes.
I see a lot of uncles and people that don't have fathers, but they have great uncles, things like that, and they're taking them, or a neighbor, and it's really nice because I've never seen more kids that are playing in their garage or they're doing workshops with the adults.
Yeah.
Great thing.
Yeah.
So, if you don't have the patience, maybe you can find somebody who can help mentor your child.
Absolutely.
That's a great idea.
Well, because I think not everybody, you got a lot on your plate, and I have a lot of sympathy, especially for single moms.
Yes.
I do, because they're the ones wearing all the hats, and I feel very sorry for them.
Yeah.
But you know what? If you have an extended family or you have a great friend network, you'd be surprised how much they'll come to the rescue and help. All you have to do is ask.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially during trying times, I think people are just more willing to help each other out. I'm not a mom, but you're a mom, and there's carpool, conversations, and I'll take your kid if you drop my kid off. And so there's a lot of that going on. And so even if it's not a family member, if it's a neighbor, if it's a friend, just reach out. You'd be surprised. People will probably respond.
It's funny because through this, I've noticed so many people are getting a chance to get to know their neighbors more.
Yes.
Did you notice that?
Yep.
I have.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't know any of my neighbors.
I say we're living in the 1950s where everyone waves to each other when you walk down the street, and don't know anybody
It's
until
so
now.
true.
I've never been
Yeah.
friendlier.
Oh my
On my morning runs, I wave to everyone. I'm like, hi.
We're starving for people.
Oh my gosh, yes. Oh, I love your dog.
I love that. I
Yes.
really do. I think that's
Yes.
really nice.
Yeah,
I do.
You have to do something.
You
know?
do.
You gotta get that connection somehow.
I know. It's a hard thing. It really is. And I even feel so, you know what, you're going to laugh. I feel sorry for the dogs.
I know.
Oh my God, their whole situation. I mean, they're waiting like, I had the house to myself. I have no peace. And I feel so sorry for even the dogs. Even the dogs, some of them are depressed.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So it's just interesting. But, okay, so the mindset. So we know what we have to do with our kids, and we have to get more involved, and we have to just do simple things. And I get that, and the engage, and I like the structure and the appointments and all of those things. But how are we going to get through with our mindset? The one thing that's somewhat saving people is the weather. People in the Midwest have terrible weather because I see a big difference to where I live in Arizona. We never have bad weather.
Yeah.
So there's always things you can do. You can go for walks, you can go bike riding, you can go hiking, you can go swimming. People in the Midwest don't have that luxury, unfortunately. So you're going to be more claustrophobic inside a house.
Yeah.
How do you tell them how to deal, especially with people that live alone too? I mean, come on, what do you do? That's a hard thing. What do you tell people, mindset, how they can get through this right now? Because it's very depressing.
It is. It is depressing. Taking advantage of the weather right now in the Midwest is good. I don't know, but we're like you said, we have no idea how long this is going to last, when it'll turn.
Well, it's definitely going to be, it's definitely going to be here for the winter. Okay, so let's presume winter now.
Yes.
We're in the house.
Yes. So this is
a tough one.
It is, and I'm gonna kind of piggyback off of what Brittany said earlier. Like we learned from last year, right? So we know what quarantine looks like. We know what lockdown looks like.
Right.
It's not going to be new to us, so we need to plan. And so we have time to plan. The weather's still nice outside, so it's not here yet. So start thinking about things that you can do when you're going to be inside and the weather doesn't permit you to be outside. Are there some things you can do outside, or are there going to have to be more things that you come up with creatively in your own home? Like in the beginning of quarantine, I saw the funniest things on Facebook. Parents were like creating obstacle courses. They were doing Olympics with their kids. Like people got super creative.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't see that. Okay.
Bathtub
Some of my friends
happy
did it.
hours. I mean, these are teenagers. I was seeing
Yeah.
teenagers sitting with floaties in their swimsuits in the bathtub and doing Skype calls with
Oh,
other teenagers.
That's so funny.
because it's making an event out of something that you wouldn't think is super special and eventful.
Okay.
But
I
instead
love
of
that.
sitting down and just watching a movie,
Yeah.
you're having a movie theater night.
Yeah.
Make popcorn. Maybe give your kids some candy.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the dollar store if you can. Pick up some candy. Order from Instacart, wherever you're going. But making an event. And maybe there's some things that you normally wouldn't enjoy to go outside in the cold weather to do. But maybe it's something you're willing to do to get out and get some fresh air. Go for a walk. Bundle up. You'd go sledding if it was snowing out. So bundle up and go for a walk and maybe be mindful of what it's like in the cold, in the snow, in the freeze. It's different, and there is a piece to it, I think. So doing things differently and making it something that
Yes.
is bigger than what it actually is.
I think it's a great idea. I was even thinking giving each child, I mean, if they're very young, you can kind of help them through it, but they should have their pick in what they want to eat and cook it.
Oh, I love that.
Great idea.
You
Yes.
know why I say that? Because I've had 3 teenagers, and I'm going to say they were about maybe 15, 16 and up, okay? And they started cooking, and they actually love it. I have one that wants to go to culinary school because of the COVID, and he realized that, hey, he's got a knack for cooking.
And he had this opportunity that maybe he didn't have before.
He was into sports the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
thought, oh my God,
It
that's
is such a
great.
unique time.
Right?
It's like, it's negative, but we can also see it as a positive.
I see a lot of positives coming through.
Yeah.
People are forced to have to deal with their stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And parents need to deal with the stuff that they have at hand.
Yes.
And I'm also noticing that a lot of people are making their homes their havens.
Yeah.
It's, they're thinking, well, let's.
Spending a little bit more money to like make it comfortable.
Yes, in a big way. And I'm seeing a lot of people doing that more and more. And so that, I think the home construction, home building
Yeah.
is never been higher right now.
I think last time we said the two biggest products that like skyrocketed were paint and beer.
Yes, right? And I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah, you're stuck at home and you're painting and you're drinking some beer.
I'm telling you, liquor stores have never been more.
Oh, I know.
Well, my
I'm
husband,
sure.
his grandparents had a bar. So my husband was raised in the bar business. And
Yeah.
he said, you drink in good times and in bad
And in
times.
bed, foolproof.
That's right.
So you just do.
Yeah.
So you know what, really, but this is a good thing. I like that. I really
Home
do.
projects is another, speaking of like things to
Yes.
plan.
Yes.
So like we're going to be cooped up in the house in winter, and I'm going to stress the planning thing. Like I think planning in all of this on every aspect, parenting,
Yeah.
kids, e-learning, stuck in the house for winter, planning is going to be like the key to less stress if you can. And I know it's not going to be easy,
No.
but making time to
I know.
sit down and plan some of this stuff, whether it be what your week looks like, kids' week, meals, wintertime activities.
Yes.
Come up with like another good idea for the family meetings is when winter does come is like, okay, we're gonna have some theme nights. Everyone
Yes.
pick a theme, throw it in a jar, pick it out. Okay, we have Hawaiian night.
How cool would that be with the lights?
Yeah,
Yes.
get some lights.
give
And
the
how about
child
the
those
limbo?
Oh, there you go. Hula hoops.
Oh my
Yeah, you get some
God! I would
grass
give me kids. I love the kids. I want to be with them.
And depending on the age, maybe it's that child's responsibility to make what you need for that night. Like
Oh,
maybe they
that's a
make
great idea.
glaze,
Okay.
And
That
they're
could
in
be a
charge of
whole
it. They have
activity.
to pick the meal. They have to make it. They might need assistance, but it gives them ownership of something and
And gets everybody excited.
creativity,
Something
independence.
to do, something to look
Something to
forward
do.
to.
Yes.
It's really hard, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Okay, so I like that a lot. And I'm also thinking anybody who has teachers right now or tutors, ask them for a curriculum of crafts or science projects.
Yes.
That might be a good thing too.
Yes, fun
And this
things
way,
for different ages.
Everybody can order what they need, so you have all the stuff on hand.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's cool. Kids love experiments.
Yes.
They really do. But you know what? I wouldn't know the first thing and what to do, but at least I would find somebody to say, hey, maybe you can get this, and I'll be writing everything down diligently. But I've got to tell you, that would be a great idea. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, I was there. I homeschooled my daughter for 2 years when she was young because she had severe learning disabilities. And I remember just getting the right people to do it for her. I mean, I was fortunate I was able to do it, but I have to tell you, they were so creative in what they did. And I loved it. And she really benefited so
Oh,
much
yeah.
for them. But I really, and,
And
you know
Pinterest
what?
is a great resource. Like,
We didn't have Pinterest
Yeah, I
back
know.
then. I mean, she's 29. There was
Yeah.
no Pinterest
Right.
back then.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're right. So take advantage. So
if you're not creative yourself, you don't know. That's okay. Just
you could do it.
Yeah.
I think that's a great idea. I do. I know your aunt. She's wonderful as a grandmother.
Yes,
And I
very
love her because
creative.
she's a very personal friend. I love you, Dee. I know you're watching, Dee. But she's got the grandkids and she's
Yes.
got your children because you're, the grandkids. And she's amazing to what she does. She does the tent thing. She does everything with them.
Yes.
And I love that.
Yeah.
She is a fantastic grandmother, but she gets down and dirty and she says, I love it. When they leave, I'm like exhausted.
Yeah.
She goes, bye. But
Yeah.
she is amazing and creative to what she does. Oh my God, my hat off to her.
Yes.
But that's another thing. So you know what? It's nice. And if you know that you're not going anywhere, you can go visit your grandkids.
Yes.
I think there are a lot of parents that are being very, very paranoid of not wanting their grandparents around the kids. Okay? This thing where everybody's got to have all their shots before you see my kid. I'm getting to think that's a little too much. Sorry, I'm going to put my 2 cents. It's a podcast. I'm going to say it.
It's
Okay?
yours. You can do
your
whatever you
podcast.
want.
I think I want to say it because I think this is this is a little bit too much. Especially older people don't go anywhere. Come on. Well, come on.
It's true. I
It
didn't
is
really
true.
think about it.
They don't. So you're trying to be protective against them.
Yeah.
Then maybe they should be taking the shots against you. And I just feel so bad about that.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, come on, have a heart. You'd be surprised how much a grandparent can add to a child's relationship right now and what it's going through. Please don't single them out. We need grandparents, and especially the grandparents that are willing to come over. don't use it as an excuse because maybe you don't have a great relationship or whatever. We just don't. No, it's COVID. It's COVID. I'm noticing too. A lot of people are using the COVID excuse to get out of things,
Oh, yeah.
and that's not
Yeah.
helping because when this thing is over, you're not going to know how to act.
Right.
You're stopping yourself from dealing with maybe ongoing problems that you have to deal with.
Right.
So I'm starting to see that.
And it's interesting, I think we might have even mentioned this last time, like introverts versus extroverts.
Yeah.
During this time.
Right.
Like the extroverts are like pulling their hair out because they need like the people and the connection and stuff. And the introverts are like, this is my world. Like, this is totally fine with me.
I
but
know.
It's like, you know.
But
kind
that
of-
person's going to have a hard time when they got to go back in society.
Exactly.
Right.
Because
Get too
this is-
comfortable.
It's almost
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
some of that reinforcing the stay at home, don't connect,
I think,
isolate.
Well-
Might have some negative effects, yeah.
but you said keep a structure. You both said that.
Yeah.
And you need to keep
Need a
a
structure.
structure. Even when you don't want to talk to somebody on the phone, it's like working next to somebody you don't like.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you need to still do that because it's getting you acclimated to still what you have to do because COVID will die down, guys.
Yes.
And I really believe that. I do. I think a year from now it's going to be totally different. Okay, I want to just say that.
Yeah.
It's going to be like having the flu. Is there a cure for the flu? No. Okay. You know, people get flu shots, and does it cure them having the flu? No. A lot of them get flu. Okay. So you just have to learn how to work with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea.
I think
of-
that's the key.
Of being locked down. I
Like
think-
working with it instead of against it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yes.
Right there. There's the magic right
Yep.
there. And that's what it is.
Yep. Embrace the situation. Accept that we're in this situation. I mean, it's not, at first it was kind of like a surprise. Like, wait,
Right.
what? We're locked down for 2 weeks. Wait, another month, another
Yeah.
2 months.
Right.
And so it was kind of this constant like emotional
race.
pull. Like, okay, we're almost there. Oh, it's another month, you know?
Right.
And so now that we're like, all right, listen, this is going to be the way that it is for a while, I think everybody can try to work on this acceptance piece, accepting that we're going to be in this situation for a while and plan for it and make the best of it. It's not going to be forever. Like you said, it's not going to be forever. This isn't the way our lives are going to be forever, but for now and for a little bit
I love
longer.
that, but I like the acceptance because what happens if you're in a bad situation with work? You have to learn how to work with it. You're
Yeah.
not going to always get your way.
Right.
So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Now, I have one question that it's been bugging me because I deal with a lot of teachers and a lot of superintendents that are clients of mine. And I want to ask you, what do you do with a child that's more of a teenager that doesn't want to do the homework?
Well,
I know, right? I know.
There's
I
so
mean,
many of them.
Well, because a lot of them are not going to do well when it comes time to going to college. When they
Yeah.
start taking their tests, it's more than just taking your ACT, stuff. So what do you do with those kids that are becoming lazy? Because I know they're not doing the work. And, by law, they have to pass these kids because they can't fail them. So
Right.
this is what, my heart bleeds for teachers. My hat's off to teachers because it is the hardest job next to being a parent.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to
100%.
tell you,
Yeah.
I think it's a parent and then being a teacher.
Yeah.
I really do. Okay, so what do you tell the parents that can't get their kids motivated? And I'm not talking little and grade school and junior high, it's more high school. What the heck do you do with that personality?
well, I think it goes back to some of what you mentioned before, the bargaining.
Okay.
That might work so far.
That was my first thought. I was like, I'd be like, what do you want, kid?
Yeah, like you're not taking the car, you're not driving.
No. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's figure something out.
Right?
here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they're a little older, they're not like a grade school, and you have to deal with them a little differently. So what do you tell them? Because that's a tough age.
It is a tough age, but teens also want things to be their idea. So I think going back to a family meeting, and that might look different if you have elementary age versus a teenager and you're having a family meeting, but what works for them?
Okay.
And putting the ball in their court. You pick the structure. From what time to what time are you willing to do schoolwork or log on or do your e-learning, and what do you want for that? How can I help you be
What a great
successful?
idea. So they maybe can choose when they, smart.
And sometimes I like
Smart.
even give them the option of their consequence.
Yes.
If you don't do the homework,
Okay.
what is going to happen?
What should I do as your parent?
These are your
Yeah.
options. I take away this, or you something else, whatever
Right.
it is. and then you let them choose what their consequence is going to be. It helps them to get more invested. It actually triggers different parts of their brain too, because they are having to make a decision versus being told, I'm taking this away from you. So it's activating different parts of their brain, which is going, okay, well, I really like hanging, texting my friends, so I don't want it to be my phone. And so they're like, now they're mentally involved in this process, and now they're thinking about, okay, so I'm going to have to do my homework, or I don't want that to happen. So you're triggering their brain too to like act kind of like an adult.
That's a great idea. I love both of you. My God. I think parents are going to want you in their hip pocket. Okay, this is great. You gave such great advice today. I love this. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart, because so many people watch the YouTube and the podcasts, and seriously, people are really lost at this because we haven't had much experience. People have children, they don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Everybody's fighting, everybody's just and they just don't have solutions and techniques to deal with their children. So I commend you, and I can't say thank you enough. I really mean it. Christine, I love you. Brittany, I love you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you for having us.
How can people get a hold of you? Please tell everybody the website, everything, where you're located, the name, everything. Give them your information.
So we, I did want to mention this as well. We have been hearing clinically and personally a lot of parents needing help and resources, but with time being an issue, this fall we did some surveys and we reached out to parents to hear what some of their complaints were, and we're actually starting a platform called the Family Wellness Exchange for parents, and it's a subscription-based platform where they can get resources from clinical therapists. So we know that they're valid. We know that they're what's the word I'm looking for?
Things that have worked with our clients and things that we've seen be successful.
Based. Yes.
So their techniques.
Techniques, things that they can do,
strategies.
strategies.
You mentioned like some of those like science-y projects and things.
Yeah.
We have a lot of therapists that are awesome at stuff like that. Like just come up with creative solutions for people's problems. So we kind of did this survey to sort of see what the needs of the community were and what people were really looking for in terms of resources, so that we could give them the right kinds of resources.
I love
Without
this.
the time commitment.
Yeah.
I mean parents have enough on their plate. They can't be logging on at a certain time. They have enough logging on.
Right,
all
they
day.
do. They do.
So
And if you have an issue that warrants professional help, see a therapist. I mean, and feel free to
Yes.
call us and we can help, point you in the right direction. But this parent is sort of like the Family Wellness Exchange is really for parents who want more of quick resources, want to connect with other parents. So we're going to have, I'm sorry, I kind of cut you off.
No,
We're going to have live Q&A webinars with therapists. So we'll have it on one of the topics that they have mentioned are one of the highest of their priorities. So right now, the highest stressor for parents that we've gotten back in our communities has been too much time on technology. So they want to know, what do we do about that? Like, how do we change that? And so, for example, like Brittany would get on, we'd talk a little bit about how to change that, some strategies, some things, and then people can ask questions.
Oh my God, this is a love of resource. I love that, and you guys are doing that. So this is a really great idea. I think this is going to be extremely, extremely successful. Because this is what this is about. Parents need help. This is why I was so excited that you said yes to coming back, because parents can tune into this. So for all of you that's watching, listen, there is help on the way. So, resources are power. Take advantage of this.
Yeah.
This is very, very important. Say the name of your business and website, please.
our practice is Inner Courage Counseling, and our website is innercouragecounsellingllc.com.
And you're located in Naperville.
North Naperville, yep, off of Deal and Washington.
Okay. Well, I know a lot of parents are going to be reaching out to you. And you know what? I feel very confident. They're in great hands with both of you because I love you. I just wish you guys were around when I needed all this stuff, when I was having a young kid. But this is great stuff. So you know what? The world isn't at a total loss. There are ways to get better.
There is
Yes.
help out there.
Okay. So you know what?
Yes.
Don't just, you know what? It's going to be okay, guys. For all of you that's watching, it's going to be okay. Bear up is what I say. Get into a good mindset. Be open to things, and this is all going to fall in place. Thank you. I wish you a ton of success. I know it's going to be great, but you guys are going to get very busy even with what you're doing with all the resources. This is
Thank
going to be a
you.
big thing, and I think this is great. So thank you, and thank you again. I can't say enough. And we're going to do this again because I think parents need all of the ongoing assistance as much as possible.
Yeah.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Love you
You
guys.
too. Love you.